Welcome to EyeOpener, powered by Siemens. And now your host, Gugan Sanger.
I'm helping them understand their data and build up those fundamentals, and move into understanding the condition of the machine from their data, right? Getting a more holistic condition monitoring overview, which is part of why our title is condition monitoring analysts, right? Because we want to look at the condition of those machines, and then taking that understanding to the next level to be able to help them understand and look at the predictive side of things, right? So this we've raised this case, it's got these details, got this condition in the machine, how long do you have left, right? How long do you have to take action, and inspiring the cultural change that comes alongside that. A lot of teams right now are probably on planned maintenance strategies, possibly even reactive maintenance strategies. And the whole idea of predictive maintenance is to try and ease those burdens, right? Those maintenance burdens, whether that's planned maintenance, where there's a very rigorous schedule, right? Every 2 weeks, there's a lot of engineering burden that goes with that, and whether we can ease that engineering burden to make them be able to do more work, right? They're able to better resource. I know that this asset doesn't need work this week, so I can go work on something else. I can do another task that's important. And then for the reactive people on the reactive plan, it's all about avoiding failures, so they don't have to deal with catastrophic issues that take a lot of time and a lot of issues, when they could, change it a week earlier to only take an hour, and then the problem never arises.
There's a big cultural issue, as in you're expecting some users to shift from the way they've done it for like 20 years to a whole new way of doing it. So how do you manage that process? So you need to appreciate they're going to be reluctant. Some of them might be. Some of them don't want to sit down in front of a computer. So you've got to make it really compelling. So up front, you need to give them some very quick wins, like you've got 6,000 machines you're responsible, but here's the only 10 you need to look at today. That's like a key part of the product.
Yeah, so there's quite a broad range of things we get up to on a day-to-day, but we've been working on methodology, and you'll find that you go through the same stages with every customer, right?
Yeah.
And very much the start of a project, your day-to-day with that customer is going to be things like asset selection, what kind of value you can find. We're quite interested in the delivery team of making sure that there's a really solid business case to anything we're looking at, and then what the feasibility of those things are, right? So what can we do for them? What's the best value we can provide? And then moving forward, there's a bit of day-to-day in terms of, we call it the deploy phase, where we look at how to take that data and effectively bring it into Senseye and use it to the best effect. They were doing something very new, something very groundbreaking, and I was really interested in kind of their mission statement. And I know, talking to people like Rob and Chris, when I first met them, they had a very clear vision of what they wanted to do, and where they wanted things to go. And I think that was really interesting for me, right? It kind of provided me an insight into where we want to go and what we want to deliver. And I found that really interesting, and something I wanted to follow and come along on the journey with Senseye, right?
When I was talking to Chris, Rebecca and Rob, I got an idea of what the company stood for and what they were really interested in doing, and that really appealed to me.
I think for me as well, something that set Senseye aside from other things is I could take a lot of the skills I'd already learned, but I also had this brand new area that I could learn about in terms of the engineering that I hadn't been so focused on, done little bits and pieces, but it's this entire space where there's so many interesting and different bits of machinery that you just don't know about. I think Susan will probably agree with me that every project you go into is a brand new project, right? It's something fresh, it's something interesting. There's new problems to be solved, there's new challenges to be found, and you can see the effect you have, over the course of a year working with these clients. I didn't, at the start of my career, this wasn't my target industry. I came from quite an academic space, so I did physics university. And then I went into insurance. And as I went through that process in my career, I very quickly found I wanted to do something much more practical. I wanted to take those skills I have, and I wanted to be able to apply them to much more applicable, real world applications, to be able to see the effect I'm having on the world, right? And that led to me when I was looking where I want to go next. Since I came front and center as somewhere where I could very much take the skills I've learned in those areas and bring them to the real world, right? And be able to deliver good value to people and be able to see the effects that I can have on the world, right?
Okay, that's really interesting. And yourself, Susan?
I guess for myself, I started off in medical microbiology and bioinformatics. That was my original background. And then I went on to do a postdoc. And then I realised quite quickly that academia wasn't really for me.
Yeah.
So I started looking into different areas, and I came across predictive maintenance, and it kind of appealed to me because it was a completely new area for me, and I quite like learning new things and using kind of the skills that I already had, and this felt like a very good fit.
Being able to do all the work, clear your backlog is something that's probably on a lot of people's minds, right? There's might be a lot of, for example, SAP ticket notifications that are sitting there waiting to be done. But there's a constant maintenance burden that hopefully we can help ease. So then you can get to all those tasks.
No, I completely understand.
Operate your line to the best it can be, right? Make your life as easy as possible.
Yeah, UX, if you Googled it, it's a right old minefield if you're ever trying to get advice for it, because everyone's an expert. But there doesn't seem to be much in the way of formal training. People do like a year on it and say they're an expert. But really, for me, user experience is what it is, which is making things that are easy to use. And what you really want it to be is so easy to use you don't even notice it. You just use it all the time and don't even think about it. And everyone's got things in their lives that are good like that, and you don't even think about it. It might be your cooker, having the buttons in the right place and the dials work properly, because some of them are terrible. Or even the classic example is doors that you know how to open. How many glass doors do you walk up to and you're like, do I pull it or do I push it? And that's a classic problem, which is still a problem, and it should be fixed by now. And the things that work so well you don't think about it, there's an awful lot of thought gone into them. So we try and put an awful lot of thought into making things be simple. It's the easiest way to explain it, I think. And it's a constant job, especially in predictive maintenance, where we've got like machine learning, which is complex. We don't want people to have to deal with the complexity. We want people to just live with the simplicity of it, really. You don't need to know that.
No.
You just need it to do all the work for you. I like drawing parallels with cars, really. It's like in the old days, you used to open the bonnet and fix everything under it. Well, my dad did and I didn't. But nowadays, you don't need to do that at all, really. You might look at the oil and the water, but everything else is automated and everything's a computer. So it should work nicely for you. We use Slack, which is a team communications thing. And in there, we have a specific channel to collect ideas. So it's really easy just to have one place for stuff. It's like, we don't want email plus this, plus this, plus this, because things get lost. So one channel, anyone can post anything in there. It might be their own ideas. It might be feedback from customers, but everything goes in there. And then I will track it and collect it all. And then we can review it and pick out the bits that need doing and are compelling. And often it's things we've never even thought about, so which is really good. And at the moment we've got like 500 things in there, so you need to stay on top of that, and that's a really nice way of just getting any kind of ideas come in. So if UX is being easy to use, then UI is user interface, and you want it to look good. So those things go together. They have to match the way people are thinking about wanting to use things. So classic example being the iPhone, which defined a lot of best practice for all of this. You need to know that buttons look like buttons, that you can press them or click them, and understand what it's going to do next as well. Being easy to use, and UI is looking good. So you can use those either way around. So look good and be easy to use is a great combination of things. And think about the products you use every day that you like and why they're good. And then think about all the thought that's gone into making them like that. Things don't just happen. If you let engineers make products, no offense engineers, but if you let engineers make products, they will work, but they might be hard to use. You need a combination. You need engineer and design to work together. You need graphic designers in there as well, so everything's easy to understand. And the things that you probably find easiest to use, you don't even think about. It's such a seamless part of your life that you don't even consider it. Whether it's asking Alexa what the weather is or set an alarm and things like that. So much thought has gone into that. And even now it's changed. Like, we talk about user interface purely as a visual thing because that's where it came from, just in computer screens. But interfaces have changed to adapt to all of our senses now. So you get like haptic feedback on your phone where it beeps, it vibrates for you, or on your watch. We've got kind of all inputs from your headphones and obviously from our audio assistants that everyone's using. So interfaces have really changed over the years, and you've got to kind of think of all of those inputs that humans respond to.
To find out more, search Senseye Predictive Maintenance.